That's about as American as it gets, bro.
It's American.
Is this thing on? Check 1 2 1 2. It's fucking crazy. They're invincible, indestructible. These limits are like 10,000 years.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hunt for Greatness podcast.
I know. I'm like,
Welcome to the Hunt for Greatness podcast, you dirty little muskrats.
hi.
I got Kim Gaskins and Becca Rose. She's got 2 flowers as a middle name and a last name.
I know, it's weird.
That's great. Rose Lily and
Rose Lily, Rebecca Rose Lily.
Rebecca Rose
Yeah.
Lily, RRL.
Such a romantic name.
And Kimberly,
Ooh,
We're doing full names?
Mic drop.
literally.
You told me your full name last time.
Yeah, you don't
Just putting it
remember
out there.
either. I'm just
Damn
not
it, that's so fucked up.
Renee.
Kimberly Renee Gaskins.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I'm gonna have some technical difficulties over here. That's all right.
You can
At
already
least
tell.
now it'll kind of fall into my. I just had Scotch tape out here trying to tape this sumbitch up, and I was just like,
That's the only way.
yeah, I didn't want to look unprofessional in front of y'all and shit. You know what I mean? But so I'm glad that you lined this podcast up for me.
I'll try.
That was fucking cool because she hit you up, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
she hit you up, hit me up, lined the whole thing up.
Kinda.
That was
A little
great.
bit, yeah.
I mean, it was, you wanted to do it too, but
Yeah.
I just figured if I reached out, I could get, girl power and shit.
Yeah, hell yeah. I don't have enough females on here, so it's
Yeah.
cool. Like, yeah,
I
I
like
like it.
it.
Yeah, for sure. So, what happened though? Did I post something? I think I posted something with her on it, and then maybe you commented.
Yeah.
I think so. And we were
Yeah.
like, yeah, girl, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you texted me.
I was like, I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know
And
y'all.
then Kim was like, let's do it. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, sure.
I didn't
Yeah.
know y'all knew each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how do y'all know each other?
Harm reduction.
Harm reduction.
Harm reduction,
Tell us what
yeah.
harm reduction is, and then you tell us how y'all met each other.
Okay.
And
Sure.
keep
Break
that
it
mic
down.
close to your mouth.
Like this.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So harm reduction, basically, if you think of it as a spectrum, on one side you have like chaotic drug use, and then on the opposite side you have complete abstinence-based programs like NA and things like that. And harm reduction is basically the whole middle area, and it's basically reducing harms in people that are doing, I guess, at-risk behaviors. And so that includes things like education on Narcan. We do syringe exchange to reduce HIV and Hep C. We also just basically try to keep people safe while they are using drugs, so they don't get to the point where they have hepatitis C or abscesses, and basically just educating people on how to take care of themselves and leaving it up to those individuals to create their own path. Whether they want to go on MAT therapy, like
What's that?
methadone, medication-assisted therapy. So
So
it's like
Suboxone.
methadone,
Maintenance.
Subutex, Suboxone, anything like that. If they want to go inpatient, if they want to do outpatient, or if they just are not ready to, stop using, let's try to keep those people as safe as they possibly can, basically. So it's whatever route they want to take. We just put it in their hands to make their own decisions and empower them to do so, basically.
And this is like your second job.
No, it's my only job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
just-
know why. For some reason, I thought last time you were telling me you worked somewhere else.
I think last time I was still working at Wilmington Treatment Center.
Yeah,
but
that's what it was.
Yeah, but now I'm doing harm reduction full time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I basically I run the syringe exchange in town. I also give trainings on how to use Narcan and distribute that into the community. And also on Wednesdays, I go to the jail and I teach a overdose prevention class as well. So just educating people out there about our services and those that are incarcerated, giving them some empowerment too on their choices and options.
Yeah, because the point is like so nobody gets hurt or dies, right? To try to
yeah,
prevent
basically.
those things.
I mean, if you're dead, you sure as hell can't recover, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So absolutely,
So
basically
you're-
keeping people safe.
Your overdose prevention class, like, what's the main point you're trying to get across?
So basically, in my overdose prevention classes at the jail, I first off, I usually do a Narcan training. I have little trainers on how to use the Narcan, and you would be surprised that a lot of people actually are like, what's Narcan?
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting like more known, but I mean, there are still some people that are like, hey, what do you mean? What's Narcan? And then I explain it to them. And so I just educate them on where to get free Narcan, and to come to us and our services, and basically whatever their goals are, trying to help them reach those small goals or long-term goals, basically. We talk a lot about how to stay safe out there. Their risk increases once they're out of jail or prison, a lot for overdose.
Right.
Yeah. You have a very, very high risk of overdosing when you get out of jail because you have no tolerance.
Yeah.
So a lot of people get out of jail, and if they do make the decision to go and use, a lot of them will do the same amount prior like they were doing, and so it's a very high risk of overdose.
So you're trying to tell them that's probably not that's probably not smart. To get out and do the exact same amount that they're doing. Yeah,
I just make them aware of that.
Yeah.
So once they're aware of that, then they can, if they still make that decision, then they could use less. They know where to get Narcan. I give them basically I tell them if they are going to use, ways to stay safe. We have fentanyl test strips too that we give out. That way people can test their supply to see if it has fentanyl in it.
So do less if it has fentanyl in it.
Yeah, so that way they know. So if it is fentanyl positive and they're like, okay, I'm going to do this drug, we tell people to basically, if at all possible, use with a buddy. Okay, like use in a group or with a friend.
That way they can Narcan you.
Well, basically, yeah.
If needed.
Mm-hmm.
If
yeah,
need be,
and to stagger their use, so, you guys both don't use at the same exact time, wait a little bit, so one of them can, assess how it is, if it does have fentanyl in it. Also have Narcan, they know where to get it, or if they are using alone, we have a phone number that they can call us to. I mean, I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, if somebody texts me and they say, hey, I'm alone and I'm using fentanyl, they can give me a call and I can say, hey, what's your location? Like, I'm not going to talk to them the whole time, but I'll know where they're at, and I'm going to say, hey, you okay? And just stay on the phone with them for a couple of minutes, just in case they go out, then I can at least call EMS or come myself if I'm close enough.
So so obviously this is highly controversial, but I think us three, I believe, are all in agreement that it's a positive thing, right?
Oh,
Kim,
hell
I'm sure you probably think it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
And I know you do because you work there.
Yeah.
So, all right, so fentanyl was like, I loved fentanyl. That's all I did whenever I was getting high. For the most part, like I would eat the patches basically, and it is very dangerous.
It's very powerful, yeah.
It's very powerful, yeah. And like I was doing that probably like 8 to 10 years ago. So like it was before people really knew you could suck the gel out of them and eat them and shit.
Things are way different now. Fentanyl is in most street drugs. I mean, we have had...
Because it's so powerful and they can get it for so cheap, or...
It's being manufactured very cheap. So basically,
and they can use such a little amount to make it 10 times more powerful.
Yeah, they're cutting the product with it. Basically, you have like your drug, and then they just like mix fentanyl in it. So before, I mean, when I was out using 5 years ago, before it really wasn't around. I mean, I would say about 4 years ago, fentanyl just started,
I
being
guess
put
powder
into
form
everything.
or something wasn't around because the patches and all the pharmaceutical version of it has been around, I guess.
Yeah,
because for cancer, I think it's for cancer patients, like when they're at the end of and they don't want to. You're supposed to stick it on your skin, like it's transdermal.
Yeah.
But if you eat it, it's like 100 times more powerful, probably.
Yeah, so imagine IVing it. Yeah, it's very, very powerful.
Yeah, I never did anything like that.
Yeah.
I never fuck with needles
Really?
and shit. Yeah, I never did.
I'm surprised.
Dude, I hate needles. I hate needles,
Wow.
honestly. Yeah, like,
Okay.
even when they tatted me, like, right here, I hated it.
Oh,
Could not
God.
stand it. I'm just like, it
Well,
just
good for you,
skeeves
dude.
me out. Nah, I mean, it don't have nothing to do with like my morals or anything. It was just like I don't like blood either, really. Like it just freaks me out a little bit. I just can't stand it.
I mean, I guess you can always do more, but you can't ever do less, right?
Yeah,
Basically.
that's the thing. So aside from like having a buddy and being safe that way, we say do a tester shot. Do a lot less than you normally would, and then shoot very, very slow. That way, if you do start to like see spots, which usually starts to see spots if you like start to overdose, then you can pull it out and cap it. You can always do more later, but Yeah.
Tell us about your day today before I forget to ask you. You said you had a crazy day at work.
Oh, my day?
Yeah, tell us about it. Can you talk about it on the podcast?
Yeah, I can talk about it.
Cool.
I just won't use any names. I have this situation, right? It's kind of long to explain. But basically, I have this girl and she just had a baby. And I deal with a lot of women that are on methadone or Subutex and things like that and have babies. I mean, I was on methadone when I had my baby. Mm-hmm. And per the hospital, when you have a baby that is on maintenance, basically, with methadone or Suboxone or something, they just have to verify, you have a prescription and you're good to go. I didn't have any problems with CPS or anything like that. But basically... this girl, she has a prescription for Subutex, and she gave it, to the hospital and was like, hey, I have my prescription and everything. But for some reason, the hospital didn't verify it for some reason. And even though the only thing in the baby system was Subutex. And so, CPS got involved and, she called the doctor and has a letter basically stating that, hey, I've been going here and I've been getting Subutex for however long.
She did what she was supposed to do.
She did what she was supposed to do. Yes, 100%. I mean, and I've been following her through her pregnancy, every couple of weeks.
Pretty much vouch for her for the most part.
Absolutely. Yeah. She's been doing good, right? So basically, they took her baby into foster care.
Holy shit!
All because they couldn't verify her prescription.
Somebody dropped the ball.
So it's their fault, and her fucking family's fucked up.
Yeah, it's really, really, really crazy. And so I was trying to figure out what was really going on, and trying to speak to a caseworker or a lawyer or something like that. And today, I went to court and got it all figured out, and that is legit what happened.
Somebody dropped the ball.
I guess. I mean,
somebody didn't click a button or
somebody didn't
something.
Pick up the phone and was like, "Hey, can I verify so and so's prescription?"
Oh my god, you want to get your ass sued, bro?
I mean, the foster care system is so overrun already, and so we were at this point, and so the protocol for babies that are born with unprescribed substances, in their system. They have this protocol. They do it's really crazy. They do a background check. They do a hair follicle test. They do all of these things.
On the mom?
Yes.
Okay.
And this was 2 days after the baby was born. So imagine being a new mother and then having to leave your baby to go take a hair follicle test and all of these things, even knowing it's going to turn out fine and being very confused of why this is happening.
Damn.
Dude. Yeah, it's really insane.
Pay that woman.
So she did all of that and everything, and everything checked out good.
At New Hanover? This happened at New Hanover? Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yeah.
They're good. They're pretty on top of their shit up there, too.
They pretty are on top of their shit.
Yeah, they're good. It's awesome to have a baby up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, my son was in the NICU my
Yeah.
son was in the NICU for 28 days, and they were really great there, but there are, healthcare personnel that are not so great.
Like every profession.
Exactly. And the hospital's so big and everything. And I don't know. I think it happened just because everyone is so consumed with this whole opioid epidemic, That's why your job and this is so controversial. Yeah. You know what I mean? Exactly. So everybody is so angry about it, is the thing. Everybody is so angry.
Why? Why do you think that is? I want to know why both of y'all think that, why people are so angry about it.
I think a lot of it is because, you can't force somebody into rehab and get them quote unquote clean.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
You have no control.
You have no control over it at all. So people are basically trying to use prohibition, to just eliminate resources and force people into rehab and I guess take babies when they're not supposed to be taking babies into foster care. And I think it's just so inflated that these things are happening. And I really think that's why this situation is happening to this woman.
What do you think? Do you think that it's lack of personal experience?
I was going to say, I think mostly it's people don't understand. And so what they don't understand, they're ignorant to.
You think they don't want to understand?
Some of them don't.
Yeah,
some of them don't care.
You
some
think
of them want to throw us away.
Yeah.
Throw the junkies away, because we're all in an alley or whatever.
Yeah.
Not contributing to society. Some people don't care. Some people, they just want to fix it, but like you said, you don't know how to fix it.
So it's like
a mental
about
health
everybody's
thing.
perspective on the situation.
It pretty
Yeah.
much is. I mean, so
I think it's lack of empathy.
That too.
I think so too, and just
Yeah.
lack of, like Kim said, like what you don't know, like you can be ignorant to.
Because this is one
Yeah.
of those
Yeah.
things, like, and I've even heard my own mother say this, like, you don't really fully understand until, like, someone close to you has gone through it.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's almost
everybody.
it's almost directly affected. I mean, a lot of
Whether
the
you
population.
know it
Yes,
yet or
it
not,
has.
it's
Yeah.
probably everybody has a family member.
Yeah.
Like this.
That's why it's
Absolutely.
so hard for me to believe that there's zero empathy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And like this is one thing I want to definitely hit on before I forget because we might go off on crazy tangents and shit.
Right.
But like, do you guys think addiction is a disease?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a mental health issue.
Okay.
Basically, a chemical imbalance in
Yeah.
your brain. You know.
Okay. So you think that people are quote unquote drug addicts before they actually do drugs?
I personally believe with all my heart it's a disease, and that most of the time people are born this way. I mean, it is proven to be genetic. But there are also situations where maybe a vulnerable person finds themselves in, and, you know, nature versus nurture, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you stumble
environmental
into this.
factors too.
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
definitely.
Like where you put yourself.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think that's probably what
Yeah.
happened to me because nobody in my family that I know of has substance abuse issues. Like,
Yeah.
as far as I know. But like I think that my drug use made me hate myself so much that it fueled itself almost. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like it just threw gas on the fire that like I already, you know, when I started using drugs, didn't know who I was as a person. You
Yeah.
know, it's a long. You get old and like it takes a long time to figure out who you are.
Yeah.
You know, like you have no fucking clue who you are in high school and shit.
Yeah, and then we grow up and we're all like, we're still winging it. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
no one actually knows what the
What's
fuck
life?
they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. And you think that people like you think your parents knew what they were doing until you have a kid and you're like, holy shit. they
Yeah,
did-
my parents had no clue. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
Are you an only
Yeah.
child or you got
No, I have 3 other siblings.
like brothers, sisters?
2 older sisters, 1 younger brother.
And then you, what are you?
Only child.
Oh, you're only child.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So your parents love the shit out of you, huh?
They love the shit out of me. I love the shit out of them. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it definitely was like I was overly sheltered as a kid, and they're pretty strict. Like I always felt like the one.
Mormons?
Hell no.
No, I'm just playing. I know.
We're not. They're not really that religious.
Yeah.
Whatever. We won't
Just
get
like
into all that.
strict though.
Just strict, and you know, being a girl too, I think is different.
Yeah.
I was always grounded for some dumb shit. Like I wasn't even that bad of a kid, you know. They just wanted to protect me.
yeah.
And
You
so
think
I
it, like-
rebelled against
okay,
that.
that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
yeah.
You. You look kind of like a rebellious punk rocker.
Suppose. You know.
So like you're the way you were. Do you have people in your family that have substance abuse issues?
I have an uncle who's an alcoholic,
Yeah.
and I think my great grandparents were as well.
What about you? Do you have people that
Oh, yeah.
abuse substances? See, I
Yeah.
don't have anybody like
My
that.
parents are angels, so they're kind of like, "What do we do with her?"
I think that like who I am kind of like when I did drugs for the first time, like it was fucking weird, right? It was just a weird feeling, like I didn't really like it that much, and then it started to like make me who I was, if that makes any sense.
Comes your
No, that
identity.
makes sense.
Yeah, it became my identity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that like it caused me a lot of issues that furthered me down into the hole basically.
for
but
sure.
I mean,
Yeah, it could be like, in in a lot of situations, a lot of people, it's like, what's the issue here? Like, is it housing is your issue? Do you have mental health issues? What else is going on? Do you have trauma? A lot of that can also fuel it. Environmental factors, where you live, the access to.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them things she just named are like shit that people look at as far as serial killers too. Did you realize that?
Well,
like,
yeah.
like traumatic childhood and like a lot of those you like serial killers.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
so-
watch so many serial killer
Do you?
shows.
True
It's
crime.
What's
probably
so interesting
frightening.
about them?
How they
I
work.
don't
We talked about this
Like,
last
let's
time.
talk about it again. Like how their brains work.
Yeah.
Is
What
that-
drives a person to do that? Like,
you don't think you can murder somebody?
I mean, I could do it.
I mean,
But
I'm pretty
ha-
sure I could murder somebody.
I guess I could do it, but then it's like I'm a very empathetic person,
Yeah.
so I would feel horrible about
But
it.
if somebody did something
Anything's
bad
possible.
enough to you, Do you think you could murder him and not give a fuck about the consequences?
I guess. I've honestly not been in a situation like that.
Well, thank God.
Thank God.
Yeah,
right?
because you'd be
But,
wearing an orange suit, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
fare
smart, but I
well
don't
in
think you're smart enough to get away with murder.
Nah. They always find something.
Do you think?
They
All right,
do.
here's something crazy. So, like, I had this girl on here, Sarah. I don't know why I can't think of her last name, but we talked about toxic masculinity, which is like,
Wait, is she in recovery?
yeah,
Sarah W?
Yeah, yeah,
Wagner?
yeah. So, and I think she's fucking awesome, but like we have differing views when it comes to that because I think that like testosterone is a hell of a fucking drug, bro. Like that's what I think about because most of those serial killers are dudes.
Yeah.
There's very few women that are serial
Yeah.
killers. Do you think that like testosterone has something to do with that shit?
Men are just
You
more
ain't gotta have
violent.
no
Man
scientific.
complex.
You think so?
Like
Yeah.
power complex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I really do.
Cause like I'll get like, and y'all might not. You
Hey,
probably.
buddy.
to bed? I love you. Give me a kiss.
Celebrity guest appearance.
Night. Yeah, but he punched me in my mouth yesterday, busting my lip. We were wrestling. So
Been there.
Aw.
we wrestle till somebody gets hurt a little bit. You know what I mean? But yeah, like even that, like when I wrestle with him, I can, and he's a little dude, and
Yeah.
like I think that he has a lot of testosterone, but maybe kids don't have testosterone. I don't know.
how that works.
I feel like little boys are so rough. You got a little boy, right?
Yeah, he's almost 5.
Was he like super rough, like growing up, like when he was little, like 2, 3? Was he ruffian?
Actually, he's like a little shy,
Is he?
little sweet little
so
thing.
He's sweet
but a
too,
lot of my
but-
friends' kids like are rough and tumble for sure. And when he gets with his little best friend, like he was with today, like they go crazy around the house, like dressing up, jumping off of stuff, like no rules.
5 years old.
Yeah.
That's probably a
Sword
handful.
fighting, yeah.
That's
Legos,
awesome.
fuck Legos.
I feel like
stepping
you
on
were
those
probably a
things.
rough little kid.
I was a good kid, man.
Were you? I think I was a good kid too, for the most
I was
part.
talking to my parents about that the other day. They were like, we raised you kind of like to be an adult. Because I was around adults a lot. Like, I
Yeah.
had friends. I had a couple friends all the time
Sure
at
you
some
did.
point. But,
Sure.
yeah. But, like, I also liked my quiet time and, like, self-entertained. So,
Are you still like that now?
Yeah. I
Yeah?
can be very social. But I usually do that until I burn myself out. And then I need, like, to recharge. And
Yeah.
Time.
Kim time.
Kim
Self-care.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
Hashtag
important.
self-care.
Men need more self-care.
There's a difference between isolation and solitude. You know what I mean?
I love solitude. Isolation, I know well, too. But it never goes well with
But
that.
solitude can cross over into isolation, like without your permission sometimes.
It's all about balance.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's interesting to me, like solitude and isolation. And what'd you just say about men? Because
Men need more self-care.
self-care. Yeah,
You
I
should
like
have
that.
a face
I like
mask
that.
day.
Yes.
Oh, I do
get,
face
get you a
masks.
bubble
Fuck
bath.
Hell yeah, I do
Yeah.
face masks. I
Hell
do them with
yeah.
her. Like
That's
whenever
what's
she,
up.
I'll be like, "Hey, you want to do a face mask, girl?"
Yeah, baby.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Hell yeah, I love it,
amazing.
dude. It makes your face feel so.
Pics or it didn't
It
happen,
does.
Alex.
God, there's pics. Just
Okay.
just dig a little bit.
keep
You'll
tuning
find
in.
them. They
Okay.
might go away in 24 hours, but
shit.
but it makes your face feel so good.
Yeah, you're telling us.
What kind of face mask do y'all use?
I'll use whatever.
Like any of them?
I like mud masks.
Mud
Mud
masks?
masks are good.
And like the purifying like charcoal mud masks.
I like
the
those.
ones that, you
Girl.
know, minimize my pores and shit.
Yeah.
I like the ones that
Like
make your
deep
face
cleansing.
tingle a little bit.
Uh,
Like a cool
Like this
tingly.
burns, but in a good way.
like a menthol, like a
I
menthol.
had one that I left on too long, and it fucking made my face bright red.
Oh my god.
Did it?
Yeah, it was a mud mask.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You ever put real mud on your face though?
No.
I do. When I duck hunt, I put real mud all over my face.
Well, I ain't
that-
never
you
been
know,
hunting.
it's
So.
fantastic.
Men self-care. There you go.
Yeah. So I like what you said though about like men do need more self-care. Like I agree 100%. Like
yeah.
I feel like even with women maybe sometimes like we just go through life with these fucking blinders on and we're like busting shit out and just like doing this and doing that and living on straight impulse and
Yeah.
like just I mean I just don't even stop sometimes to think about what's going on inside. You know what I mean? And like I think that has a lot to do with self-care. Like taking an inventory of like what's going on inside of you. Like why am I angry or why am I treating people like shit? And it's usually because I feel like shit about myself or I'm fearful about the outcome of some shit that I have no control over in the first place and I haven't really taken a look at it. So I think like I think you're 100% right. Like, men do need more self-care. And I think that a lot of that violence and shit that happens has to do with not communicating.
Yeah.
And, like, not knowing how to communicate
Yeah.
in some aspects.
Some wires are cut.
Like, some men don't, like, we don't know how to communicate effectively sometimes. Like, we communicate through anger
We know.
and intimidation and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even to girls, like, I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't get along with a lot of girls. I'll be completely honest with you. Like, I have I don't know what it is. Like, I've gotten better at it for sure. But, like, as far as, like, just tuning y'all out, like, I feel like I tune y'all out a lot. Isn't that fucking ridiculous?
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's so ridiculous. But, like, it's honestly, that's how I am sometimes. But, like, I've always had this thing where it's like, okay, well, let me think of how to explain this without it sounding too fucked up.
Choose your words carefully.
By all means.
Like, damn.
Just say it, Alex.
Okay, so now I see women, like, we're all humans, right? We're all just trying to get through life
Yeah.
and be nice to people and not cause damage and destruction. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to, like, nurture personal relationships. But at one point in my life, I lost respect for women, and I don't know how it happened, but, like, because, like, my mom's great. She's never done really anything bad to
That's
me.
weird then.
Yeah, isn't that fucking weird? It was just like I was just on a tear. You know
Huh.
what I mean? And just not having respect and, like, not treating what you say as equal to what I say. That's the most less fucked up way I can say that.
Okay.
Does that
But
make
you
any
recognize
sense?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
learned from it, yeah?
Yeah, and it's
First
probably
step.
and it's
First
probably
step.
been years since I've done that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But that's just honest. I mean, I just want to tell y'all that, like,
I respect your honesty.
yeah, and I feel like I get along with women a lot better now. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I can talk to women and not be disrespectful and shit like that, because I try to think of it like, what if somebody was talking to you? Like, if we're friends and somebody's saying fucked up shit to you and it's bothering you, I'm going to want to fuck them up.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'm immediately going to want to be violent.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, I don't know. I think you're 100% right, though. I think that's a great fucking point, that men need more self-care. I think it will help us communicate more effectively with females and, like, have more respect.
Yeah.
And I've learned how to shut the fuck up if I can't be nice sometimes. You know what I mean?
Same.
I think that's important to,
It
like,
is.
be nice to people and
Yeah.
shit. Like, the first time I met you, you were super nice. And I'm like, damn, that's cool.
He's
Like,
just super nice, man.
yeah, you are, and I was just like, man, that's cool. Like, I could definitely do a podcast with you. And I was telling you before, I was nervous because I didn't really know you.
Yeah.
But, like, I get nervous. I got nervous to do a podcast with you and other people too, because it's
shit.
like we can talk
Yeah.
like as normal people, but we're being recorded and shit.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
it gets in your head, and
Yeah,
you're like,
for
fuck.
sure.
But I've
Yeah.
done this.
We're all just humans.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all just human beings.
Yeah.
That's all. You
I
know,
think
like,
it's
even,
important to
even,
remember that.
Like, doctors and lawyers and stuff like that, and, like,
Yeah.
judges, they're all actual human beings, and they
Yeah.
go home at the end of the night, and they're just humans.
Yeah.
You know? That's
They
how
put
I
their
see it.
pants on just like us.
Exactly.
Damn
That's
right.
what my baseball coach used to say. Like,
That's a
when
good saying.
He's like, they put their britches on just like you, boy, get in there and bust some ass. But do y'all remember? Did y'all play sports or anything?
I did gymnastics, but not like team
Yeah.
sports.
Rode horses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do y'all remember, like, your teachers and your coaches and shit? Like, did anybody ever make, like, a long lasting effect on you, like, as far as teachers, like, in school, or
Not
did
really.
you have anybody that went above and beyond for you that probably didn't really have to?
Probably, but for some reason
They're
my
not
memory
sticking
is
out.
like,
See, I was thinking about that.
I'd have to think about it for a minute.
Yeah, I
Go
was
through all
thinking
of
about
them.
the other day how important these fucking people are in our society.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, our teachers, especially. You know what I mean? Like, they
Oh,
don't
yeah.
fucking get paid enough.
Yeah.
God, they don't.
They
And-
don't get paid
yeah.
enough. Your kid's in school, right?
Who will be next year?
Yeah, so, like,
Yeah.
he's about to go to school, and you're about to put him in somebody else's hands so they can mold.
40 hours a week. Like,
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
gonna mold his fucking mind and teach him shit that, like,
it's
that.
scary.
Yeah, it's scary, and it's like, it makes me think. My kid's only 2.5,
Yeah.
and it makes me think, like, when he gets home from school, I want to be like, "What'd you learn today? Like, let's talk about it."
Yeah.
and then I can
tell
tell
me
you.
one thing that you remember.
Yeah, and then I can tell you what I think, and then you can just take it for what it is. And, like,
Yeah.
your mom can tell you what she thinks, and,
Yeah.
like, all these people who love you can tell you what they think, and you can just mold your own. But we don't fucking pay teachers enough, bro. Like, that's just
God,
my
we
opinion.
really don't. I try to do that with my boy now. Like, even if he's like at preschool or something, I'm like, I think communication is so important,
Yeah.
even at a really young age.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, he'll be 5 next month, and I try to talk to him like I mean, not like an adult, but pretty much
Yeah.
like an adult. I mean, I'm like, hey, how was your day? What did you do today? And sometimes he's like, nothing or whatever. But or when he gets upset, I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, are you? And he'll be like, I'm angry, and I'm like, well, why are you so angry? Like, let's get to the bottom of it, you know? I think that's very important, just to, like, make kids aware of their emotions and stuff, you know?
You think little girls are like that? Do you think they deal with things differently? Because, I mean, I know y'all were like little girls at one point, so...
Last
I mean,
time I checked,
do y'all get angry over shit easily or not really?
I mean...
Or,
as
like,
a child,
did you growing up is what I mean.
I didn't really get angry. I got upset.
I can get
Yeah.
frustrated pretty quick,
Yeah.
but it's not like I actually act out on it.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's the lack of testosterone.
That's what I'm trying to figure
like,
out.
I'll cry if someone yells at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, like, the difference between...
It's hard
'cause-
being heartless and sensitive at the same time.
Damn, Kim Gaskins.
Women are very complex, okay?
I feel like you're on the radio right now. It's like a
Oh,
talk show on the
shit.
radio giving relationship
Good
advice. I like that
God.
shit. Yeah. So I just think that like it's crazy how different boys and girls are. Like I don't have a little girl, but I want to experience both. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I just think because we're getting so fucking deep in the what's that shit called when you can't say shit? Like everybody wants.
Politically correct.
Yeah, that bullshit. Like
Yeah.
we're getting so deep into it where it's like, oh, you can't call me a girl if I'm biologically a girl and I say I'm a boy.
Alex, no.
What?
Alex, you're about to unleash something
Am
that
I
you
not
don't
supposed to say that?
I just don't know. We should open this can of
Yeah, I
worms.
want to open the fucking can of worms because girls and boys
Okay,
are
listen.
different.
I
Alright.
think that it's just about whether boy, girl, or whatever. I think it's about teaching people in general about how to handle their emotions at a young age and how to respond to something appropriately, and just teaching that as a young age. That way that person can grow up and know how to handle their emotions. Because
Yeah.
I think that regardless of gender or whatever, that a lot of people grow up and they've never been taught how to handle their emotions.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of a just people thing.
So you
Really.
to teach your kid how to handle his emotions, you're like, hey, how are you feeling today? What's going on? Like you were just saying, is that how
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. I mean, I talk to him like all the time. I say, hey, like, yeah, how are you feeling? Especially when he gets upset. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
he's 4, so he'll throw
Yeah.
a toy and be like, and like go on his bed, and he's angry. So I go in there and I'm like, hey, do you need some time alone? Do you need some quiet time? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, why are you angry? Like, let's get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Like,
I like
and then
that.
he'll be like, I'm angry at you, Mom. And I'm like, okay, well, why? What did I do that made you angry?
Yeah.
And he'll be like, you didn't let me have this or something, you know? And it might seem really small, but I mean, it's a big thing to a
Yeah,
4-year-old.
it's all they care
like,
about.
it's his whole world. Like,
Yeah.
he's literally having a meltdown because of it.
Yeah.
You know? So I guess getting him to recognize that, and then I'll say, oh, I'm sorry, sweetie, but like, you can't have this because of this. I give him a reason.
Yeah.
You know,
Not
I
just
make
because
it,
I said so.
yeah, I
shit.
make it make sense for him. And also, I know the why phase. I don't know if you got there yet, but when they're
No,
like,
not yet.
why? Yeah, it'll happen. It's very irritating, but I try
I
to
still do that.
I try to answer his why questions all the time because they're just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and if you shut children out and just say, no, stop saying why, then how does that make you feel when you grow up and as an adult and not
Yeah.
be able to ask someone why and stand up? You know?
Yeah, I think that's an important thing.
I think so too. It's things we don't think about, I guess, a lot, or I wouldn't have thought about if I had, I don't know. I didn't think about it a couple years ago, basically, but now my
Yeah.
child is like really verbal and socializing and stuff. So
Yeah.
I really kind of did my own little research and talking to people on like how do I get him to handle his emotions well, you know? So I think that's something that everyone can relate to almost.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's an awesome answer. Yeah, I think. I mean, I ask why all the time now.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to
Yeah.
be curious.
I think you should
I
question
think so,
things. It's
too.
important. You don't
Yeah.
blindly follow whatever you're told.
See, that's why I like you because
Yeah.
you're fucking. You think for yourself. You don't
Yeah.
just let other people tell you how to fuck to think. And I
Yeah.
think that's a big problem with like today's society and
Yeah.
like as far as like social media and like molding our brains to think a certain way and not outside of the box anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, dude, that might
We're
very.
sheep.
Yeah,
So-
we're
yeah.
sheep. Yeah.
The internet is real life. like
could-
now,
It's become real life,
It's
hasn't
become
it?
real life.
That shit's crazy. It could very well be the downfall of this society.
Whew.
It
Yeah.
could be like Skynet from Terminator type shit. We could all fucking just because it's gonna be like in our bodies at some point. like biomechanical shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's scary, dude.
That scares me.
It's scary already how we're always like this.
Sometimes,
yeah.
it is, right? And when you realize it and how often you do it, it's just like, oh shit. And then you're like, everyone does it, and
It's
nobody cares.
disgusting.
Normal.
Like, well, I'll just be sitting here, not
Yeah.
talking, just like on our phone.
Now that you mention it,
That's
or like you check your phone. Like, how often do you just
Yeah.
check it?
constant.
like how hard is it
You
not to
know?
look at it when it lights up?
It's pretty
Right.
fucking
If it's
hard.
sitting over there and it
It
lights
like
up,
makes
I'm
your
just
heart
like,
rate
I
increase.
have to.
It's crazy.
dude, what the fuck? We're all addicts.
I know, right?
We're all addicted to our
Absolutely.
fucking phones, dude.
I try to
100%.
turn mine off. Like, this is something that I've tried to do because I've been really realizing it. And I'm sure every parent has maybe gone through this, but when your kid comes up and they say, "Mom, get off your phone," and then
Yeah,
you're
that
like, "Oh
sucks.
shit," you feel awful.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, "Oh my god, I was like, he just called me out," basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Damn,
So
yeah.
since that has started happening, he probably started doing that like 4, like when he turned 4, and was like realizing and like wanted to play with me. And I was like, he's playing and I'm on my phone, and he comes and he's like, "Hey mom, like, get off your phone. Why don't you come play with me?" And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It makes me like angry at my phone. So after I get off work at like 5:30 and I get home, I literally turn my phone off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
Dead
like
unplug.
4 days a week.
Yeah,
If
I've kind of noticed that because you don't get back with me until like the next day
Yeah.
or some shit. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah,
I like that.
and I really like it honestly because I turn it off because even if it's still on and on silent, I'll still get the compulsion to check it, or if it lights up. So I just turn it off and I put it in a drawer, literally,
Aw.
and then I turn it back on at the end of the night, like just to check it before bed after my kid's in bed.
yeah,
So-
I wonder what the fuck our parents did because they didn't really have.
They didn't have this problem,
No,
like
that's
this
why
didn't
I'm
apply
saying
to
this
them.
is like
World
this is a
problem.
weird time
Yeah.
to be alive. Like
Right?
it's great.
It really is.
It's great. It's great. I mean, don't get me wrong. We got all the information at
Yeah.
our fingertips, but like we got an information overload though because it's like so much shit that I can find.
Oh,
Like,
we're like fully stimulated at all
Right?
times.
If we
Yeah.
have a question in our brain, we just like Google it. Like,
Yeah.
It's like nothing. We don't have to
Yeah.
go to the damn library and like look it up or anything.
I think our
like,
parents made shit up.
Uh,
Like when we ask them questions, they're just like
Absolutely.
making up shit.
yeah.
I think there should be a Google with just made up shit that anybody can type shit into. It should be called like Foogle or some shit, like fake ass
Foogle.
Google. Yeah.
I think you should trademark
You
that.
think so?
It's a good
That's a
idea.
good idea.
I shouldn't have said it on the air.
You
Somebody's
done
gonna take my
fucked up
shit.
now, boy.
Yeah, I think they made up a lot of shit though. Like, but it
Hell
was
yeah.
cool though.
Yeah.
Like I was cool, totally cool with it. Like that's what I do with my kid when I'm reading them books. I just make up the words and I make it like badass, like
Yeah.
an action movie, Paw Patrol action movie.
Yes.
Because they believe you.
They do.
Kid will believe anything you fucking tell
Yeah.
them. That's why we got to be careful what the fuck we tell our kids.
Exactly.
And that's why teachers are so important
They
because when
are.
they say some shit, a kid might not be like, why?
Mm-hmm.
They might not care if it's true or not. They might just take it for what it is. I
They're
think
little
that's
sponges.
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They soak everything up. It's
Yeah.
crazy when you see your kid doing some shit that you did, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like a
is
mirror
nuts.
of your exact self.
Mm-hmm.
That
That's
shit's
gonna be
crazy.
a mind fuck.
Yeah, dude, that shit's crazy. But it's the most beautiful thing I feel like about life as far as like, I feel like our relationships are so important. I think it's one of the most important things about life, like with friends,
Mhm.
family, and people that you love. Like, that's how you're going to be remembered.
Yeah.
I realized that when my granddad died, I was just like, I caught myself saying shit that he said to me.
Yeah.
And I realized how important that man was to me and how he instilled like shit into my fucking soul, like so deep. That's his flag right there. And then
Aw.
like I got pictures of him everywhere. I fucking love that man. Like his last name was Maddox.
Mhm.
That's where we got my kid's name
like
from.
that.
So sweet.
But like he was my favorite human being on the planet, dude. And I remember actually him coming to me and being like, "Do you need help, dude?" Like,
Aw.
you know what I mean? And I'm like, no. Like, do you get that a lot? Like, when people come to you, do you ever ask people, when, like, at your job, do they need help? Or do they pretty much know they can come to you for help if they need it?
It depends on the situation. Like, we have a ton of just like regulars, and they know that it's there basically.
Yeah.
So we have some people like in the syringe exchange, they'll just come and get their supplies and go, right? And then some people come in and they're like, "Oh, I have this abscess," and I'm like, "Ha, okay, let me see it."
That's a story
And then-
right there.
We'll get in. This will like go into a story with Kim.
Oh,
but
shit.
so, and then I'm like, okay, come back here. I fix them up, I examine it and make sure it's like okay. To give them a little plan of care or whatever, and some things to take with them. Or some people come in and they are like, hey, I remember, or do you guys know of like where to go to treatment or something? And then I'll be like, oh yeah, of course. And sometimes it takes a while for them to get there. Sometimes they don't get there, but they know it's there. So they come and they ask me for help because they know that I have all of these resources. Like we have so many resources that people can be using. Or they come in there and they're like, hey, I need a tent, or like I need a sleeping bag. Do you guys have those? And we're like, yeah. And so we give them a tent and a sleeping bag. We have like a little food bank. We have a clothing rack too.
Do people donate to this thing, or is it government funded? Or
no, it's not state funded at all. So we work off of donations and grants. So we have I take things like,
tell them your new address on Wrightsville Avenue.
It's at 2154 Wrightsville Avenue, and we have all these resources, all this information. Like we have connections to free like treatments and like income based like methadone or subs or anything. So even if they don't, a lot of people don't have insurance and don't have an income. And then they're using, so they'll come to me and be like, what can I do? And I'm like, here you go. Like, what do you want to do? You know what I mean?
Like here's your options.
It's basically empowering them to make decisions for themselves. So whatever they want to do with it. So but again, sometimes it's just in and out. Like, hey, what's up? Like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, how's your day going? Is there, what do you need from me? I ask them, not necessarily like, oh, I have all this stuff. Look at this rehab. I never do that, but I'm just like, well, is there anything I can do for you? Or what do you need from me? You know?
So tell me what the whole story between you two guys, like,
okay.
Kim.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So basically I knew of Becca, I guess, because like you've lived here for a while, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you go to high school here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I knew of her. We had a lot of mutual friends. And she posts on Facebook about syringe exchange and harm reduction shit.
Right.
So I knew I knew someone that did that. And when I was in a really bad place, I was like, fuck it. I don't have money to spend on new needles. So I knew I could reach out to her. And it's safe and it's confidential and all that shit. So I guess I just sent you a message, I think, on Facebook first.
Yeah, I think so.
And then we met up, and like I just want to say shout out to Becca really quick because I know I've told you thank you before, but like Becca was always just amazing. Like she's really sweet. Anything like what you need, like she doesn't pressure you. Like I needed supplies for a while, and I would go and get what I needed, and I would leave.
I came to you.
A lot of times. She came to me. Yeah. She came to my house a lot of times.
She does outreach.
She does that. If I couldn't get there, she would come to me. All kinds of different supplies she offers, and
my
then
trunk.
She's got a trunk.
My trunk.
She's got it all organized in her trunk.
Yep.
And then one time, this was towards the end of my using, maybe like a month, 2 months before I stopped. I got a really bad abscess on my arm. Actually, I have scars from it still. This is the scar, girl. These are the scars. So I've had an abscess before, but it went away in a couple days and it was fine. Basically, I think I got a bad batch of Coke is what it was. And whatever was in it, who knows. It got worse. It ended up being there like 2 weeks. And I was scared and it was painful. And the internet only really tells you so much. And then you think your fucking arm is going to be like Requiem for a Dream.
WebMD's got you ready to die.
I'm about to die. And I was like, what do you think I should go to the ER? At what point? And she just would tell me like all the things to take care of it. I think that you guys have a phlebotomist and a nurse on staff there.
Yeah, we have a phlebotomist. Shout out to Bernadette. She's our
Bernadette.
phlebotomist.
Nice.
And so, and I also have a medical background too.
Yeah.
So I can pretty much like assess the situation, like you need to go to the ER and get antibiotics because it's like infections going up your arm, or if I look at it I'm like, okay, you can treat this at home basically.
And that's what I did for like a bit, and she said it was fine, and I trust her judgment, you know. And it was okay, but then it started getting worse, and you know, like pus and stuff like that. And I had another one pop up, and another one
you had
pop
a couple.
up. I had at least I had 3 on this arm and 1 big bad one on this arm.
Fuck.
And finally she was like, look, you need to go to the ER. Go to this place, you know, they're nicer to you, all that shit, you know. She knows everything.
Yeah.
And I went, and it was fine, and they they lanced it and they stuffed it and packed it. Yeah.
God.
Real gross.
Shit
but-
like that skeeves me
Yeah.
out, dude.
and actually she also gave me a bunch of Narcan too, and at one point I had gone out of town. My dad kind of forced me to go stay with him for a month, and of course that doesn't work for me, and so I came back and I got my drugs the night I came back, and the next day I went to Walmart because I couldn't make it to Becca, and I overdosed in the bathroom in Walmart by myself. And I have overdosed before and been Narcan before, but this was a really bad one. It fucked me up. Like, I quit maybe a month after it happened. I definitely think it had something to do with me wanting to quit, just being alone. It was scary.
Yeah.
I went through some weird conscious shit when that was happening too. But
What do you mean?
like it was, your eyes are still closed, but I knew what was going on around me. I was just being like sucked through situations I've been through in my life while I
Holy
was.
shit!
I know, dude. It fucked me up. But I've heard other people say shit like that. It's like, and then I'm technically alert mentally, but my eyes weren't open yet, and I could hear like the beeping and the heart monitor and shit going on around me, but I couldn't say anything and I couldn't open my eyes yet.
Like it was paramedics loading you up.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, it was just like, this is fucking bad. That's what I realized. I'm like, this is really fucking bad. And then, they Narcan you and you're throwing up all over yourself, and it takes you a good 3 to 5 minutes to like get your bearings even and realize, and I'm like, oh shit, my day is gonna be ruined. Not only am I gonna be really sick, but I might get arrested. God knows if my family finds anything out. All these bad scenarios are going through your head. And I ended up being able to leave the Walmart. I got really lucky, and I got my little fucking Uber and drove back home. And I was like, look, we're addicts. You know how it works.
Oh yeah.
An overdose isn't going to stop you from using if you're not ready to quit. So I was like, look, how long do I need to wait before I can use again? Because I'm fucking sick now.
Yeah.
So she would help me, coach me, tell me everything you need, basically. And definitely always felt like the love from you, which I really appreciated that. Because
Damn,
I was
that's awesome.
I love you. I was so fucking lonely. Like, I had no friends, Like, my friends were my fucking dealers and people who also bought from them, And they don't give a shit about you. And, I think I was probably really skinny and really pale with long, stringy hair walking down the road when I met Becca, Like, it was a hot mess. But, yeah, she's awesome.
Wow, that's crazy. That's so crazy for us to be in the same room and you say some shit like that because you're clean now.
Yeah.
And you've been clean for a minute.
9 months in August.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's just so cool that like how
It's full
rewarding your
circle,
job
yeah.
is, but also probably how tough
It's tough.
it is.
It's very tough. At the end of the day, sometimes my brain feels like you take a sponge and you just squeeze the water out of it. Like it's very
hard to not take that home with you.
It is hard.
You build relationships with these people.
I want to help everyone.
Yeah.
as best as I can, and that's the beautiful thing about harm reduction is because you empower the people. Basically, the people that use drugs, you empower them to make their own choices, and you educate them.
And I wasn't ready to quit when I first met her.
Yeah.
But I did know my resources, but I just didn't have the willpower yet, or I honestly didn't even think that I could get clean.
Yeah.
Like I had done it before, but I actually thought I was gonna like live and die an addict, and I was kind of okay with it.
Was this like after I met you when you had blonde hair?
Yeah, this was just this past summer.
Okay, so when I met you and
So
you had blonde
2018.
hair, you like weren't really like into drugs and
No,
shit.
I was,
Okay.
because I met you in NA.
Did you?
Yes,
Okay, I don't remember.
I was like a full blown addict at that
I met
point.
you through Wesley though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know like you went to NA.
But
and
it
shit.
did get much worse. But
yeah,
I was
'cause
already
you seemed
like,
pretty like fine. Like whenever I met you.
I'm pretty fine. Like
Some people you can't tell. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I have people
Yeah.
come in that literally just, use daily, and they have jobs and families and everything.
That's what people need to understand.
And some
Yeah.
people, I mean, also that there's a lot of people that just they IV their Subutex.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that IV their Subutex.
Yeah.
And the thing with that is like, you know, a lot of people would be like, no, that's really bad. But from my perspective, I'm like, if you're gonna do that, yeah, come get clean syringes.
Well,
if
of
you're gonna
course.
do it, you're gonna do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Love them where they're at.
and
basically.
at least they're not doing you know, street drugs, and you know it's a prescription medication, and
Yeah.
there's you know what's in it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
You know what you're getting, so it is a step.
It's
You
a
know what I
step.
mean?
Right.
It really is a step. So, and there's people that do that and like hold jobs and come in and they're just like, hey, what's up? And we just have small talk and they leave. And
Yeah.
then there's other people I have to worry about, you know, I worry about more. So there's just so many paths in this spectrum I talked about in the
Yeah.
very beginning of the chaotic drug use and abstinence. There's this huge in-between gap that you don't know how to label. You know what I mean?
I fully thought I would like die on Suboxone.
Us as humans like want to label everything, and there's this
Yeah.
whole group of people that are just trying their best. You know what I mean? And there's this one situation where I had this woman, and she came in and she said she was using like 2 bundles of heroin a day, which is quite a lot, and she was doing that for a while. And she, you know, I worked with her and just was honestly, I was just there for her, for somebody to talk to and everything. And
Are
then
you talking about me again?
sounds similar, doesn't it?
Yes.
But no, a different person.
You can
but
just tell me.
But she came. I kind of didn't talk to her for a couple of weeks, and she came in, and she was like, "Hey, Becca," and I was like, "Hey," I was like, "You look great. Like, how have you been doing?" And she goes, "Yeah, so I only use 2 bags of heroin a day now, just 2." Like she uses in the morning and at night, just like 1 single bag of heroin.
Yeah.
When she was using like a whole
20.
bunch, right?
Yeah.
So that was her personal goal. That was her small goal. So someone that might not, you know what harm reduction is might be like, oh, you're still using. That's bad. Like, why are you still using?
Yeah.
But my perspective, I said, that's wonderful. I said, that's great. Come give me a hug. I was like, that is so cool that you met that little goal. Like, that's awesome. I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you. And I feel like any positive change should be rewarded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's
Instead
like
of
dealing with a small child.
discriminated.
Like
Yeah.
you're saying, like
I
it's
mean-
everything to them. Like that toy or whatever you took away from your son is everything to them. And the same shit with a drug addict. Like
Yeah.
those drugs are everything
Their
to us. when
lifeline,
we're-
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when they do, you know, even if they reduce use or any sort of positive change, get into the methadone clinic, or just they're like, hey, I haven't had an abscess in a month. That's awesome. I'm like, that's awesome. Like,
There's
that's
probably,
so cool.
They probably have nobody in their life that will get excited or
Yeah.
encourage them over
Not
shit
likely.
like that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so hard for people to, even myself sometimes, like, because I quit using and that was it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been clean for 8 years and it was like I was fucking done. You know what I mean? And it's like, even for me, sometimes it's hard to understand, like, why I go back. You know what I mean? Like, I try to empathize. It's hard whenever that you love the person. Like, when you sincerely love the person.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to empathize at that point because it hits so close to home. You know what I mean? And
I think that is why a lot of people, like we said earlier, get really angry. Is
Yeah.
because you get mainly angry when it's someone close to you,
Yeah,
and you love
yeah.
them so much, but you're so angry that they won't stop. You know what I mean? And that's where, you know, that's where the line is really, like, and that's where you need to, like, educate yourself on how this works. What can you do to help, even if it's just a small thing, by
Yeah.
like giving them Narcan, showing them how to use it to keep themselves and their friends alive, you know, and telling them where to go where they won't get discriminated at. Because a lot of people are deathly afraid of going into the ER, the hospitals, clinics, because of like medical staff and
Yeah.
how they treat them. I personally have been treated badly by medical staff before for just being a drug user. I mean, when I had my baby and I was in the NICU because he was on methadone,
Yeah.
and I was breastfeeding, so I had like, you know, stored breast milk in the fridge, and I had to ask for it to, you know, give him a bottle. And I have hepatitis C also, so I have hepatitis C and was on methadone. And this nurse literally brought me my breast milk, carrying it like this
Yeah.
by the fingertips, like it was contaminated or something. And I had like double gloves on and was like, here.
Wow.
And like, how did that make me feel? I'm giving my infant, my sweet little baby boy, this breast milk that hepatitis C does not go through that breast milk.
No.
Okay. And you're a nurse and you're treating me like that. You know,
she should know that anyway.
she should know that, you know, you would think.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just that whole anger thing, you know,
Yeah,
that
and
whole
just
anger thing. Like,
ignorance.
why are you on
Yeah.
methadone and you have a baby? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like, you don't know me. Like, why are you treating me like this? You know what I mean? And that's not the only story I have of just medical personnel
I'm
treating
sure.
people badly.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have a place like our place at Harm Reduction where people can come in and they can get services, and we just ask, hey, how are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
how was your day? Like, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
You know, or what are your needs, or what are you looking for? Because we have so many connections, and I never refer someone somewhere that they're going to be treated badly.
Right.
Like
right.
all of our close connections, like Coastal Horizons, like they're awesome there. Port is awesome too. I mean, we have really close relationships in town with those places. So if I refer somebody somewhere, like, they trust me, so they trust me to know that I'm going to send them somewhere that they're going to be taken care
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Do you think that your experience with drugs kind of makes like the way you interact with these people different? Do you think if you wouldn't have had the experiences that you had, that it like your life could be totally different in the way you deal with these people?
Absolutely. I never thought that my drug use would help me in my career.
Yeah, that's pretty
You know,
sweet.
it honestly, like, yeah, and it's very empowering too, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I have been through a lot of shit, and I guess that, you know, makes me relatable, and I can really relate to these people, and I feel for these people too. And I would just want to help them. And I just love each and every person that walks through the door, honestly,
Yeah.
right off the bat. And I just like welcome them with open arms, and, you know,
Sounds like you're making a difference, like a huge difference in the world. That's fucking great.
I really
I
try.
respect that shit because you made a difference in her life.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool, dude. I think that, like, not putting ourselves in other people's shoes can cause a very big problem. Like, if we can't allow ourselves to imagine what it would be like in your shoes, it's hard to empathize unless we can do that. And I think that I've been thinking a lot about this, that our personal experiences shape our views of the world and perspective of people around us. And I think that's where a lot of the division comes in with, like, people that think that what you're doing is not good, and people that think that if you're a girl, like I was saying earlier, if you're biologically a woman and you say you're a dude, like, fuck you for that type shit. You know what I mean? Just because my personal experience doesn't line up with yours doesn't mean I have to, like, write you off as a person. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like, your personal experiences molded you into the person you are, and you're able to touch people that you otherwise wouldn't be able to touch because of the pain and the suffering that you went through. Same goes for me and you. Like, we can reach people. We have relatable experience, like you're saying, and sometimes that's the only ones that can get through.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, that's I don't know. I just feel like our experiences. I try to think about that too when I write people off.
Yeah.
I'm like, is my personal experience, has it molded my brain to such a fucking narrow way of thinking that I'm just going to write you off as a person because you don't see things the same way as me?
I mean, we're all guilty of it to a certain degree.
And we can get so much from people if
Yeah.
we just cut that shit out. Like, I don't have to agree with everything you fucking say.
We
try
all
to
get
be
old and
open-minded.
die one day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
like I said, we all put our pants on in the morning the same,
Yeah.
and we all are gonna die one day. You know, and we're all here, and, you know, why not learn from each other? And if you don't know something, ask questions.
Yeah.
I have
Right.
people asking me questions all the time, which I love. Like,
Yeah.
I go do trainings on how to use Narcan at different places, and sometimes, I mean, a lot of the times they have all of these questions, you know, and some of them are like, you can hear the anger in their voice, like they might not agree, but I love getting questions because it's a chance to educate people.
Yeah.
And I mean,
You
wouldn't
are
know
a
otherwise.
teacher. Like, you are like a teacher. You
Yeah,
know,
I
like,
guess
if
so.
you look at it like you're educating people.
I guess so,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're educating people. Like, it's
Yeah.
so important. And,
'Cause
like, people's
yeah.
fucking lives are on the line.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, you know, people hear the word like syringe exchange and they just think it's like maybe like a shady room where I'm just tossing out fucking needles. Like, here you go.
Oh, yeah.
You
I'm
know,
sure
like,
people think that.
but it's like
I mean-
so much more than that. Like I said, all of the things that we have there at the office, you know, and all the resources, like, but we also do syringe exchange because the fact is syringe exchange reduces HIV and hepatitis C in the community. That
Yeah.
is a fact. Like, you cannot argue with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and we also give them biohazard containers. That way, when they're done using their syringes, they put them in the biohazard containers and they bring them back to
So
us.
a little kid doesn't pick it up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, exactly.
That's
so
like
they
every
have,
parent's
yeah.
fear is like your kid picking up a syringe.
I think it's
Exactly.
important to say too, like harm reduction and syringe exchange, that does not enable drug addicts to use more. Like,
Yeah, they're gonna do
a
it
lot
anyway.
of people say that shit, and it really makes
Well,
them
that's
mad.
their biggest argument.
Yeah, it doesn't. They're gonna do it.
I'm going to make an example
Yeah.
that can be related to. Okay. So, say you have like a son or daughter and they go out one night and they are like at a party and they do drugs and they share a syringe with somebody, right? And then that syringe has hepatitis C or HIV on it, okay? Those two things take a long time to actually show up positive in your body. Hepatitis C takes, like, I think it's like 3 months or something to even show up positive. So somebody can, 3 to 6 months. So somebody,
Same with HIV though, right?
Or longer, right?
I think it's, I'm not for
Damn,
positive,
that's
but it's like
crazy.
months basically. So you can like have it and actually like be tested and like have a negative result,
yeah,
but you
yeah.
still have it because you don't have the antibodies yet. So say that happened, and then say, you know, that person like has sex with somebody, and then that person has sex with somebody, and they don't even know, and that shit goes rampant in the community.
Ooh,
Okay,
boy.
this could all be prevented if it
Clean
was
needle.
a clean syringe, and that person is educated to, hey, you use your clean syringe, you use your clean syringe, put it in the biohazard container so it's safe, bring it back to the syringe exchange. You know what I mean? So these things are actually, they are reducing risks in the community.
Yeah, to people who don't
Yes.
even use drugs.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's
Just
like
everybody
for all
has
of it.
sex, dude.
Everybody. You
Yeah.
know what I
All at
mean?
risk.
Yeah, everybody has sex, and so like that's what is so important to me about having you on. Is
It's
so
a bigger picture, you know?
yeah, so people can try to understand who haven't or who don't think they have been directly affected.
Yeah.
Because anybody can be directly affected, even if you don't do drugs.
Exactly.
You can still be directly affected.
That's the thing.
But it's so cool because the ripple effect that you guys have is so positive. Like it's
Yeah.
fucking, it's amazing, dude. Yeah. So enough about that. I want to know what you think is in Area 51.
oh, Lord.
Hell
What do
yeah.
you
Let's
think
go
is
there.
in
Show
Area
me
51?
them aliens.
Do you think that they got shit in there?
Fuck yeah, they got shit in
Come
there.
on, really?
No, they don't. They moved it probably.
Fuck
Okay.
yeah, they moved it. They,
They
know
moved
they're
that
coming.
shit. That's
They
what
know
I'm
we're
saying.
coming to
They
get
might
it.
have moved it now, but it was in
Do
there.
you think so, though?
Also,
you think it was in there?
what's in Area 52? I don't know about
All the shit probably.
The
They
same
probably
shit.
moved it.
All
They
right.
moved it from Area
All right.
51 to Area 52.
Okay. Okay.
They need to storm Area 52.
On a U-Haul.
They do.
I'm part of the Facebook group. Are you?
I actually have not joined.
I'm part of the
I'm
Area,
about to do it after
Storming
this
Area
podcast.
51 Facebook group.
That
They post
shit is
amazing videos.
crazy. First of all, you know some people are actually going to show up.
Oh, dude, that
more
all
than
the
some
hotel
people.
rooms in
They're
Nevada.
fucking booked.
They're booked.
and
There's
they're
that-
having a
yeah.
music thing. There's like a
Yeah, there's a
concert.
festival.
These people are serious.
It's going to be lit.
Do y'all think that there's do you all right, first of all, let
They're
me
going to
ask
get
you,
shot to death
you
real quick.
think-
Yes, that's my thing.
do y'all
It's like,
think
oh
that
my
there's
God.
aliens?
Hell yeah.
Well, duh.
I think
Okay.
it would be ignorant to assume there's nothing else out there other than us.
In the
Yeah.
whole
Oh,
universe.
yeah.
I don't know if they
Yeah.
look like little green Martians, but they're there. They have
Something.
to be
Alien
out
means
there.
something alien to us.
foreign.
Yeah.
you know?
That's all it means.
But I mean, we've all seen pictures. On
do you
the
think that
internet.
they've been here before?
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
If they're
Saucers.
making them spacecrafts that in the documentary, if y'all watched it, that
Mhm.
like
What, the Bibles are shit?
yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit was
I mean, if you
awesome.
watched it and that is like accurate and they're making all that shit, hell yeah, they've
We
been
got
here. They're
another
probably,
Rogan
like,
fan.
This is probably their reality fucking TV, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Just watch
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
there's like, look at these idiots down here
All right,
destroying the earth.
Tell me what y'all think about this.
What?
Okay.
Spit it.
So, what if, and I've never said this on a podcast before,
Oh,
so I'm
shit.
stoked about it. And
Let's
I
go
ride
there.
around thinking about crazy shit all day.
Mm-hmm.
So, what if we're living in a simulation that was designed? Okay, what if we're living in a. Okay, have you ever seen Inception?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's real good.
All right, great fucking movie. What if we're living in a simulation that was designed by somebody who was living in a simulation that was designed by somebody who was living in a simulation?
You're tripping too much acid, Alex.
Because you remember in Inception where they got so deep in the dream they could forget that they were in the dream
Yeah.
and they'd want to stay there because they thought it was reality.
Yeah.
Like, what if that shit happened and we're so deep in a simulation that was designed by so many people that we have no clue that we're in it?
And what happens when we die? We go into another simulation?
Either that or we regress into the previous simulation.
Oh, shit.
Jesus
Yeah.
fucking Christ.
I just was thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, dude, because Inception was such a dope ass movie. Yeah. Have you ever had a
You've
dream
been
inside of a
smoking too
dream?
much DMT, Alex.
Yeah, I need to lay off the DMT. Have y'all ever had a dream inside of a dream?
Probably.
Like woke up from
Not that I
a
can
dream,
remember.
Uh-huh.
like woke up from a dream and been in another dream that you thought
Yes.
was like you in your
Yes.
bed.
Yes. Yes.
I
That's
like
what
woke up in the shower one time and I like saw the soap. No, seriously, like saw I could like remember the soaps and everything in my shower, but it wasn't my shower.
Like, was the
And then I
shower a little
woke
bit
up,
off?
It was a little off. Like it was the same exact shower, but it had like different soaps.
Yeah,
so
like
you
different
knew you were in
soap
another
bars.
dream.
I was like starting to realize, oh, this is a dream, and then like I woke
That
up
actually
from it.
happens kind of frequently now that I think about it.
Really?
'Cause I either dream a lot or I don't dream at all. It's like my mind goes through phases.
Yeah.
And I'm always wondering what my conscious is trying to tell me, to be honest. I mean, it's
Really?
usually some shit, some people in my life, whether past or present, and it's some weird shit going on, you know?
Like, does it make you try to make a literal meaning out of the dream? Is
I
what
mean,
you're saying?
yeah, it's in your mind. It's like, what do you want out of this, you know?
That's why that movie was so interesting to me, because it was like your subconscious.
It's like, what is my subconscious trying to tell me right now?
And like you controlled the entire world that you were in.
Mm-hmm.
It's the crazy. I take a lucid dream aid like a couple times a week just to, like, when I work out real hard, I'll take it so I just get knocked out and like my muscles can recover and
Lucid
shit.
dreaming is nuts.
Yeah, and
like-
I still don't know if I've ever done it. Because I'm so fucking stupid. I don't know if I'm in a dream. Isn't lucid dream when you know you're in a dream, you can do whatever you want and control it, right? Isn't
Yeah.
that what lucid
Well,
dream
I've definitely never had that
I
happen.
don't know, dude. Like, I just fucking...
I've had that, but not consistently throughout the dream. Like there has been parts of the dream where I was aware I was dreaming and I could like actually do things, and then it would like trail off, you know. And then I would
Yeah.
like go back into
Try
it
to go
and then like
back.
trail off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What-
Lots of history of drug use, you know, that can do
Right.
it to you.
what
Like
your brain is doing in a dream is so crazy, dude, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because like we have all these what we see as limits on reality. Like whenever we're like walking around, like I can't like do like that and make your headphones fly
Yeah.
off your head or some
Yeah.
shit. You know what I mean? But like in a dream, if you know you're dreaming, you can do whatever you want. I know I've had them before, but like I'm so dumb. Like I'm so dumb in a dream. Like I just feel more dumb when I'm dreaming. Is that like? Do y'all ever feel like I'll like try to punch something and can't punch it,
Okay, yeah.
or like
I see
I'm
what you're saying.
underwater, like I can't punch.
Yeah.
Like if something's trying to get me, I can't defend myself.
there's certain things that you can't do in a dream. For instance, like this is one like common thing. You can't actually
You've
look
never
at your
seen
phone.
your phone in a dream.
What do you mean?
I
Think
saw
about
a
it.
meme
Have you
like
ever
that
seen a
the
phone
other
in your
day.
dream? Have you ever used a phone in your dream?
Mind
I
blown.
know. Why the fuck is that? I don't
Because
know why
phones
it
are
is.
demons, bro.
I'm
Holy
something. I'm
shit!
getting rid of
Why
mine
are
tonight.
phones not in the dreams,
I
dude?
don't know.
Dude, that gave me chills.
My computer's never been in a
crazy,
dream
dude.
either.
Think about it. Technology. Has
No.
anybody ever used technology like
No.
I don't
phones
know,
or
dude.
anything? Like, I mean,
Oh,
you can't
shit.
actually call anybody. Like, has anybody called
No.
anybody in a dream? No.
Holy shit!
It's a common thing. Look it up. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Just start asking people.
Have you researched that at all?
I've heard it from several different people.
Really?
Yeah, and then I started asking people. I'm like, have you ever like called somebody in your dream or looked at your phone and replied to a text message? They're like, no, never. And I'm like, what? So
Dude,
I don't know.
that's fucking
I would like more
weird.
info and to know if anybody else.
Holy shit, me
has
too.
done that.
Damn it, dude. This is like a crazy realization right now
I know,
for me.
right?
that
Like,
you
what
just-
does that mean? Our phones,
Dude, it means
phones are
something.
evil.
Dude,
Yeah.
it means something.
And it's pretty much everybody. Like, I don't know anybody who said they've seen their phone in their dream.
And how much we fucking look at it right before we go to bed.
You would think that it would appear in a dream,
First
right?
thing when I wake
Absolutely.
up, too.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And like when you watch something before you go to bed, sometimes you dream about that shit.
but
Yeah.
never like the device
Why?
it's on.
Why?
I don't know.
It's like I don't think I've ever had a dream about what I was watching on my phone, but I've had a dream about what I was watching on the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like a movie that
Yeah.
I was like immersed in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, that's crazy. I gotta definitely look into that. So
Yeah.
other people have told you that?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Holy shit, that
At
might
first,
be the,
my coworker, she actually brought it up to me, and I was like, "Whoa!"
what'd she say?
It was
She-
because of the meme, right?
What, there's a meme?
There's a fucking
Is there
meme
a
about it.
Yeah,
I've
so
seen
it's a
it.
thing, right?
Is there?
Like you can't fucking use your phone in a
Yeah.
dream.
Holy
So yeah, she mentioned
shit.
it to me out of the blue, like I don't know, randomly, and I was like, "No shit." I was like, "You're right. I've never actually," because she said she had a dream or something, and she went to call someone, and she couldn't.
Like she could see her phone though.
I'm
I
trying
think
to
she could
find
see
it.
her phone, but you can't like
What the
use it.
fuck?
You know what I
here,
mean?
right here. As much as I use my smartphone, I don't think I've ever seen it in any of my dreams. Wait a second.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Has it got Kanye on there?
No, some other guy, some
Yeah.
other black man.
Damn, dude. Fucking
Isn't
that's
that weird?
crazy, dude.
So I'm thinking like maybe some people see it, but you definitely can't use it. Like
You know,
ever.
You know, like,
Like,
it
it
makes
doesn't
me
work.
think, like, why?
It's
and
the aliens.
we could be aliens.
What if
Did
this
you-
is our
Or-
connection to aliens?
or
and
it's
they're
the
like
Russians.
communicating, or Russians? Definitely the
Definitely.
Or
Russians.
if that's
Definitely.
what's blocking us from the aliens.
Or it's the Russians in the aliens.
Why you think Russians are evil?
What
Because
That's
they
kinda
fucking
fucked up.
hack
What
us
if Russians
and
are
shit.
aliens? I mean,
Russians
let's go
could
there.
be fucking aliens.
It's always the
dude.
Russians, right?
Dude, Russians
Hey,
are
you
good at
never
everything.
told us what you think about the Area 51.
I don't think there's anything there. I think it's a decoy.
Me too, because
Yeah,
now it's
it's
like a tourist thing. You
it
know,
was
like
a-
everybody go there.
It was
and
a
take
decoy
pictures.
from the 60s when they said an alien ship crashed. After that point, and they printed it in that paper for one day. You know what I'm talking about?
You think it's still out there in that general area of the country?
Nah, I think it's somewhere totally different. Maybe not
Yeah.
even in this
They probably
country.
fucking teleported it somewhere. You know,
They
like
could
who
have.
knows?
That's some
There's
sketchy
alien
shit.
technology that is available to the military that we don't fucking
Why
know
do they
about.
want us to
Absolutely.
not know about aliens?
Because it's
so
dangerous.
bad?
They
for
wanna
a
keep us
normal,
dumb.
Dude, we fucking
Yeah.
we shoot people in schools. That's how fucking stupid we are.
Yeah.
You think they want us to have that shit? Fuck no,
just-
Donald Trump don't even know about that shit. They don't even trust that motherfucker.
Well, he's not to be trusted.
Exactly, and they,
Yeah.
dude, I guarantee you, the
Yeah.
president don't know
Don't
shit.
get me
He's just a
started on that
fucking puppet,
motherfucker.
dude.
If
That's
he did, we'd all be fucking dead, blown up.
we
Like
very well could be.
Shit.
See, I think the president's just a fucking puppet.
He's a goddamn idiot.
I
Because
think-
that's what they do is they do use something to distract you from something else that's going on, like for real that
The face
they want to
app.
keep on the DL. You know,
The
They
age-
should just open up Area 51, just let everybody in there and see
They
it's
might
an
as
empty
well.
fucking warehouse.
Yeah. Museum it.
They
That's
might
what
do
they
that.
should
They
do.
might just be like a fine party in Area 51.
Like that shit
get
with,
some strobe
crazy.
lights, like turns into like a rave.
That shit with Bob Lazar, how they like tried to erase his entire
Yo,
fucking
that shit is
Sketchy.
crazy.
past, all his
Sketchy.
schooling,
Yeah.
all his records, like
Yeah, and you know he probably went to a teacher, and they probably paid off that teacher so good that they were like, "Oh, I never taught you."
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because if it was me,
It's
I'd
so
like try to
deep.
go to my
What are you
professors.
trying to
you
hide?
know?
Yeah.
That
don't
dude
understand.
didn't seem like he was lying to me.
No, and he made a really good point about how when you tell a story over so many years
30
and it
years,
never
yeah.
fluctuates, it's always the same story, always consistent. If you're lying, it's hard to keep your fucking facts straight.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I know I can't do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
I believe him.
he was so like I just didn't feel like that guy was
What's
lying.
he gaining from lying?
I mean, fame, but he acts like he didn't even
He
want to be
doesn't give a shit
famous.
about fame, I don't think, you know?
Yeah. Like his
Yeah.
first initial interviews where they in the documentary where it was like he was a shadow almost, what he was saying in that shit. And like it just made me think, why didn't the government knock him off? Like why didn't they whack him? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. Like
I think because he was already out there, and then it'd be like obvious. You know what I mean?
Like, he was
like
already
if Bob
so-
Lazar got killed, people would know it was
Now
the
they
government.
do.
You know what I mean?
But they
Like,
do shit all the time.
do.
That's fucking
Yeah.
sketchy like that too.
Yeah.
too.
I don't know. I think there's definitely
They
like,
may have tried.
I
You know
think
what
there's.
mean?
I think smartphones and fucking the internet has been around way longer than we fucking think it has. And the same shit with alien technology. Like they don't want a fucking citizen, like a normal person, to have it. We already have guns,
Yeah.
but that ain't shit compared to what they got.
Yeah.
Like if they wanted to fucking wipe us out with chemicals and shit, they could definitely fucking do it.
Oh yeah.
If they wanted to exterminate the population and shit, like that's what's crazy about Hitler. Like Hitler wanted to fucking take out an entire
Where are we
fucking-
going with this?
Hitler wanted to take out an entire race of people,
Yeah.
and he fucking pretty much did for the most part. And I
Uh-huh.
just think that shit's crazy how one like if one motherfucker goes wrong, like it can threaten the entire fucking planet.
Yeah.
If they let us get that technology and it got in the hands of somebody like Hitler, we'd be done. Like if Kim Jong-un or somebody like that got that alien technology, we'd be fucked.
Done.
That's what I think. Same thing with Trump, Obama. Obama did more drone strikes than any other president combined in the fucking history of the United States.
Leave Obama alone.
So, no, I'm just telling you
Anybody
facts.
in power, really.
I'm just
Yeah.
telling
We're
you the
talking,
facts.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, dude. I just think they're all fucked. That's my conspiracy theory. I think they're all fucking puppets, like you were saying. Watch this hand while we do this over here. And, like, these people really aren't important.
Nobody really gives
Yeah.
a shit
We just
about
use
us.
them as, no, bro.
Yeah.
And, like, we just use those people as shams and, like, look over here while this hand's doing this and taking everything you got and making you vulnerable to whatever the fuck they want, whatever it is they want us to be vulnerable to. So you think there's shit in Area 51? Could be.
Well, I don't know if
You just think it's out there.
It's 100% out there to me.
Yeah, I think so too.
Maybe I think there may have still been shit there that they don't want people to see.
For sure.
But
yeah.
who knows if it's actual like aliens and
Why guard it
spacecrafts.
if you don't don't
Yeah,
care about
that
people
shit
seeing
It
it?
might be like a
It's
lab or
crazy.
something. You know what I mean? Like a lab
Yeah.
for doing something like that. But
There was actually a show maybe a year or two ago on A&E, and the actor Rob Lowe, it was his show with his sons, and it was about this. It was about like aliens or whatever. They were going to explore the shit. They drove out to Area 51 on that long ass road, and when they got out there and started walking around the fence, the fucking alarms and sirens started going off.
Damn,
Yeah,
Rob
they'll
Lowe.
get you. Yeah, they'll get you off of that property. So I mean, there's
Real quick.
something there, but I don't think
It
there's like a
can't be.
spacecraft chilling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
they
they
moved
probably
all that
moved all
shit.
of the obvious
Yeah.
alien shit. You know?
can't have that much security for a military training base.
I mean, you can, but
I mean,
it's
you can,
sketchy.
but it's really jacked up.
Well, we got fucking embassies in like everywhere throughout the fucking world. So like that shit could be anywhere. They could load that shit up on a like a Chinook or like some type of fucking alien or not alien like like a big ass airplane. They could load all that shit up and move it wherever they
Yeah.
want. They could be moving it all the time. We would never fucking know.
They might be. Yeah.
That's what's crazy about the CIA and the FBI and shit. They're always
Shady.
up to some shady
Shady-ass
bullshit.
palm trees.
Same shit with you. Fucking shout out to the fucking IRS. Fuck you too,
Fuck
bro.
you too. Fuck them all.
I love how we went from love to hate in this podcast.
Well, hate the government.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
So yeah, I appreciate y'all doing this, man. Like
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming back, and I think
Yeah,
it's awesome,
thanks
like
for
the
having me.
impact that
Yeah.
she had on your life, just
Yeah, it's
just by
cool.
doing her job, but going above and beyond and going the
Yeah.
extra mile,
Yeah.
and like just being a good person, like just being a good-hearted person makes a fucking total difference, and
does.
especially somebody who hates theirself.
Yeah.
So that's dope, man. I appreciate y'all doing this. I
fun.
definitely want y'all both back on the podcast.
Sure.
No, I'll do it.
Whenever.
Everybody-
It's super fun.
Thank y'all for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
We love y'all. We hate the government, obviously, but yeah, signing out. Hunt for Greatness podcast, boy.
Peace.